Samasta Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Okay, now today we start with verse 15, and it says, Evam gyatva kritam karma purverapi mumukshubhihi kuru karmaiva tasmatvam purve purvataram kritam. It says, having known this, the ancient seekers after freedom also performed action. Therefore, you too perform action as did the ancients in the olden times. Now see, he is saying, having known this. Now when he uses this, one has to know what does he mean by this. So this means when he comes to know what in the previous verse he has said, that I am the author of action, yet I am a non-doer. This, if you know, or you know means thoroughly understand, then what happens? The ancient seekers after freedom also performed action. That means, now see, he says purve purvataram kritam. Now purve means ancestors, and purvataram in the ancient times or in the olden times. So she says that those people, after having known this reality about the Supreme and how the Supreme causes action, then thereafter they used, seekers after freedom used to act, perform action. Notice that nobody is free from performing action. So here he says the seekers performed action, therefore you too perform action. See, he says kuru karmaiva tasmatvam, because they used to do purvataram kratam, ancients used to also do in the olden times, and so you also perform action, but after having known this. Now what is the knowledge that he wants you to know? You know, the knowledge he wants you to know is the true consciousness because of which action takes place. Now see, awareness that you are free, awareness that you are the Supreme, so you are not conditioned by anything, that kind of discretion. See, I'll give you an example. Only through knowledge can you be set free. There is no other way. See, unless the dreamer knows that he is a waker, unless the dreamer has got the knowledge that he is the waker, he cannot be free from the sufferings of his dream. He will have to suffer because he thinks he is the dreamer, right? Now, say I'll give you an example. A parrot who has been caged, okay? Now, he has been caged for years. He only knows that I am a prisoner. Now, at that time, even when he is set free, supposing you open the cage, have you noticed that even then the parrot does not fly out? For a long time, the parrot remains in the cage because he has not got the knowledge that he is free. He thinks that I have been inside this cage and that is how I am. He doesn't realize that he is free. So once he gets the knowledge that he is free, then he flies out. Immediately he flies out. But till he understands that he is free, he doesn't. He thinks that he is in this cage, attached to this cage. Also understand that who is, you see, you are attached to this world of things. You say that I am not attached. These things are mine. I am not theirs. That's how you say. But just to explain this point, a teacher once showed a farmer taking a cow, leading a cow and by a rope. And he asked the students that who is attached to whom. So the student said, of course, sir, the cow is attached to the farmer and the farmer is taking the cow. So he says, okay. So then he went there and he cut the rope of the cow, setting the cow free. The cow ran from there. The moment the cow ran from there, the farmer ran after the cow. So he said, who is attached to whom? Now tell me. Is the cow attached to the farmer or is the farmer attached to the cow? It is mentally who you are running after, or what you are running after, or what you possess. That you have to understand. That kind of discretion you have to have, and knowing that all your actions, see, this is all about action. And he is explaining that if you have the correct knowledge, you will not run after wrong things and you will be set free. You will not be enslaved by the world of objects. So here, now see, he says, but he says you must act. Please notice the second line, Kuru Karmeva. This is an order from Krishna that you must act, because even your ancestors used to act. Nobody is free from action. Nobody is liberated from action. You have to act. Okay, so this is one. Now then, next come to the next one. Kim karma kim akarmeti kavayopyatra mohitaha tatte karma pravakshyami yajgyatva mokshase shubhat. This verse says, what is action and what is inaction? Inaction, when action does not take place. An action, when action is taking place, when there is an act or action. So he is asking, he himself is saying, what is action, what is inaction? As to this, even the wise are deluded. See, this word kavi that he uses. Kavi, generally known as a poet. But in the olden times, kavi was a person, was considered a sage, a very wise person. So here he says over here that even the wise people, even the sages get deluded by karma, because they say na karm ki gati bahut gehen hoti. Gehen means it is very confusing, complicated, because so many people are acting in the world. Insects are acting, animals are acting, you are acting. The whole world is doing something. And what determines what is to be explained to Arjuna. And he says, therefore, I shall teach you. Krishna is promising. Krishna is telling Arjuna that out of love for him, he says, therefore, I shall teach you action, the nature of action and inaction, by knowing which you shall be liberated from the evil of samsara, the wheel of birth and death. Now, see, the wheel of birth and death, we have explained earlier before, that birth can only take place if there is a cause for a birth. Like you have desires to fulfill. You want to do something. Therefore, the Lord gives you a body that, okay, go and play. Right? But if you have no desire, supposing a child doesn't want to play ball anymore, he's grown up from playing with toys, and you still go and give him a toy and say, go play, he will not take the toy. The same is you and me, that you take form. If you have taken form, that means you do have desires. There was a prarabdha of this body, and till this body's usefulness for that desire to be completed is not complete, it will be there. The day that desire and thing that was the prarabdha comes to an end, the body falls and you take on a new body. So birth and death will go on happening. That's why he calls it the wheel of birth and death. When you bring your experience to your action, it is only then that you can act rightfully. If you act in ignorance, considering that I act, I am the actor, okay, then there is no way that you can come out of it. Now see, inaction is that action. He says action and inaction, okay. Now inaction is that action, good or bad, in which the doership has finished, in which there is no doership, there is no karma bhav, there is no karta bhav, right? Now, when that finishes, it becomes an inaction because you have not done it. Like, for instance, if you dream that you have murdered somebody, you're dreaming, right? If you dream that you have murdered somebody, but when you wake up, you understand that no, I did not do it, I have not done it, then it is an inaction, isn't it? You have not done it at all. Whether it was in your mind or you understood that you have done it, you have not. But if you have done something, actually done something, and there is no doership in you, you understand that the Lord is playing through you, even while doing it, not conveniently, that you do something wrong and then say the Lord has done it. No, no, you know very well you have done it. When you are sure absolutely that you have not done the action, you are not even conscious that you have done it, then it becomes inaction. Okay, but so long as you are acting, there is a threefold classification of karma. One is karma, one is vikarma, and the other is akarma. Karma, of course, you understand, action. Action of any sort is karma. Okay. Akarma, akarma is action which is considered as non-action. Considered as non-action. I'll explain. And akarma is an action. Vikarma is a forbidden action. Vikarma is forbidden action. Akarma is that action which is, see, akarma by Krishna is said to be unactivity, not inactivity, unactivity. Gurudev translated like that. Now, when unactivity means sloth, no activity. There are some people who don't like to do anything. They are like pythons sitting near the Ganges on a stone. Food comes to them and they eat that food and they feel happy. And they don't do anything for their living. They don't do anything to teach anybody. They don't do anything to benefit the world in any way. That is called akarma. Vikarma, forbidden actions. Forbidden actions like cheating somebody, robbing somebody, all those kind of actions are called vikarma. Things that are forbidden by the Shastras, that this is the wrong action, it will harm somebody, that action is called vikarma. So, karma, vikarma, and akarma. Now, akarma is totally rejected by Krishna. He says you have no right to sit dull without acting. If the Lord has given you limbs of action, He has given you a mouth to speak, He has given you eyes to see, He has given you hands to work with, He has given you legs to work with. And if you don't use them for work, then that is forbidden by Krishna totally. He says that's a total no-no. Ancestors used to act, they have always acted. Everyone has acted. Also understand that you cannot do without action. Nobody can do without action. Even if your body goes into coma, isn't there action? Your heart is beating, is it not? Your pulse is working, is it not? Your digestive system is working. Your breathing is going on. Your digestive system is going on, right? So all this is action or not? Tell me. You are not doing it. You are not even conscious in a coma, right? But that action is taking place or not. So nobody can be without action so long as you are alive, so long as there is life in you. Action is the signature of life on any body. You have to act. Now, there is something you have to recognize: activity in inactivity. That is the discretion that Krishna is talking about, that you must know. You must understand that. So, what is the action in inaction, in inactivity? How do you recognize that? Now, I'll just explain to you that it says over here. See, when you are performing a good action, okay, but there is a sense of the motive is not correct. Example: a kidnapper is giving a kid chocolate. That is a good action. But what is the motive? To kidnap that child. So that action becomes a wrong action, isn't it? It becomes a forbidden action. And since he is doing wrong action, he will have to face the result of that action. It does not remain a good action, even though he is giving a chocolate to him. It does not remain a good action. Also understand, see what he, I'll give you another example. Another example is somebody giving dan. Okay, dan is a good action. Then boasting about it to all his family, all his friends, that I gave so much, I gave here, I gave there. When that is being done, it is a self-canceling action. In fact, it cuts two ways. आपने दान दिया और boast करा. So then what happens? One is it fattens your pride, it fattens your ego. And secondly, the action you gave, the thing that you gave dan, the action was good, but the motive was that you should be known as a great giver. That was the motive. So the motive was pride. The motive was, telling people how great you are. That was the motive. So it has only fattened your ego. The action of giving dan nullifies. It destroys itself. And that is why, you have these stories of these great givers who would not even see the face of the person to whom they are giving. They would not let that person see him, because see, giving cuts both ways. The person to whom you give, he feels obliged to you. That fattens your ego. And you yourself congratulate yourself that I am a great guy. See, I gave. So again, your pride swells up also. So there have been people who give where it is going is never known, and they do not want to know also. They do not want to see the face of the person who has benefited. Even if you get a little bit of satisfaction from the fact, I see this is the person I benefited, look how well he's doing in life now. That action is gone. So this is what it is. Now see, understand that actionless Brahma causes action. You have to recognize the actionlessness of the human body. There is nothing you can do. You can do nothing without His grace. When people say that I don't believe in God, even to say that, you need His grace. Otherwise, you will not be able to pronounce those words. You cannot even say those words. Your mouth will not open. Your tongue will not move to say that He does not exist. Even for that, you need His blessings, His grace, right? So understand actionlessness in a fan when it is moving. The action in a fan is action in actionlessness. The action comes from electricity. The actionless blades of the fan move when they actually cannot move. So this is knowledge you must know. So you have to recognize this knowledge. The heartbeat, the digestion, the blood circulation, the excretion, the breathing, everything is going on without your efforts. Even when you are in deep sleep, each action of this is going on. Who is acting? At least think. From where does it happen? And then when you are awake, you say, I did this and I did that and I did that. You will never be able to do it. So that is action and inaction. Now, a good action becomes a good action when it is done with a good motive. The motive has to be pure. The motive has to be noble. The motive has to be that of benefiting someone. But whatever action you do, if it is self-motivated, you only want to gain from it, then it is a wrong action. Now, I give you an example. Killing. A soldier kills, right? But you reward the soldier, you decorate the soldier, because he is killing for his country. He is killing to defend his people from harm. A terrorist also kills. But a terrorist is not, see, a soldier is killing people who are coming to harm his countrymen. A terrorist is killing innocent people. Though he is also motivated, he thinks he is doing great, but he is killing innocent people who have done nothing wrong. So he will get the result of that. A doctor, while operating, the patient dies on the table, but the doctor's motive was to cure him. So the doctor cannot be called a murderer. Though the doctor did slit his stomach, yeah, or the doctor did open up his heart, yes, with a knife, yes. Similarly, a judge, you call him Your Honor. He also sentences men to death, doesn't he? But he is not a murderer. Society reveres him. Society respects him. Call him Your Honor. Because by destroying the criminals, by ordering the death of the criminal, he is protecting the innocent people in the world, in the society, from being harmed. So the judge is doing a noble action, right? So these are all, you must understand that all these karma, vikarma and akarma, these have to be clearly marked and clearly known, that if you think, two things you must avoid. One is seekers, I'm talking about. I do. The thought that I am acting. It is done by me. You can do nothing, believe me. You can do nothing. Flesh, bones, marrow, blood, sputum, all that there is in your body cannot move. Cannot even move a millimeter. So that which moves, have it very clear in your mind that action is being performed by him. Then you do not get the pratyavaya of action. You do not get that. Otherwise, you will be bound to a result. Good or bad, you will be. Even if good actions you think I have done, even then the result, the punya you will have to, and you will have to take birth to go through that punya. No matter how great it is, but birth you will have to take, because you cannot go beyond punya and pap with this knowledge that I do. If that knowledge is there that I do, मैं करता हूँ, तो उसका फल भी आप ही को मिलेगा. Now, this karma is a very, very complicated thing. Who has fed what into the computer at which time? In the whole world, the entire world is feeding into that computer called Hiranyagarbha. Now, in that, what will come out when? But it will come out, for sure it will come out if it has been fed in there. You cannot delete it. You will have to get a reaction from that. So that is very, very important. So karma gati is very, very difficult to understand, as he says over here, that even the wise are confused in this, and he uses the word mohita. Mohita, the word has come from moha. Moh to jante na? Delusion. Some people keep this name mohita, mohit. I don't know why they keep it, but it is this, that it means a deluded person. जिसको मोह हो गया है वो मोहिता, जिसको मोह हो गया है वो मोहित, male and female gender. So everyone is confused, even the wise kavi are confused about the karma gati, and that is why a common person who has no knowledge of any of Vedanta or anything else, he goes on asking, why me? Why me? Why did this happen to me? Why did that happen to me? Arey bhai, somewhere or the other in the computer, you have deserved it. Somewhere you have deserved it. So Gurudev used to say that if you are suffering and if there is some unhappy situation, please don't blame anybody. Blame yourself. The suffering will never come to you unless you have in the past, somewhere or the other, done that to deserve that suffering. So whatever comes to you, you deserve, and nobody can take it away from you, according to Krishna. And what you don't deserve will not come to you, no matter how much people try. Even if they try to harm you, it will turn out for your good, because your karma does not deserve it. It's a very subtle, ye karma gati is very, very subtle to understand. Once Gurudev was asked that, Gurudev, why do people have nightmares? So he explained this. He said that when you have done an action only in your mind, mentally, but you have not physically done it, so the result of it also will be only mental, at a mental level. You will, get the result of it as sorrow, as suffering. Now, a nightmare is the result of a subconscious thought. If you have had a wicked subconscious thought somewhere, or a sensuous thought somewhere, a sexual thought somewhere, or a thought of violence somewhere, but that came up in your subconscious, and knowing that it is not a right, any civilized person will think, oh no, ye kya mere dimag mein aaya, and you immediately suppress it, right? You say, what nonsense, and you bang it down. But it did rise in your subconscious mind, right? So the result of it comes as a dream, as a nightmare. It will come and scare you in your dream and go away. So only that much of suffering you will get. Because it was at a subconscious level, the result will come at a subconscious level. Mental level, wrong action, the result will come at a mental level. And physically, if you do something, then of course the result comes back to you physically and very strongly. So these are basically, I'm doing it in a very sketchy manner, because you cannot go into the details of this thing. It's very, very complex. Then there are sins of commission and omission. वो भी listed है. Sins of commission, everybody understands, something you have done. There is also a sin many times in not doing. Like, you have seen a wrong action happening, maybe a violent murder. But when it is going to the police or to the court, or when people say, you have seen it, but you don't report it. You don't report it. That means what are you doing? You are saving the criminal and letting the innocent suffer. This is a sin of omission. You have not spoken up to defend somebody who was innocent, whereas you are the only person who saw that. You are the only witness who saw that wrong deed, but you have not spoken. That is a sin of omission. I'm just giving an example. There are many, many sins of omission. In fact, even not killing the criminals, not killing those who harm the society is a sin of omission, according to the Mahabharata and also according to the Shastras. You are supposed to eliminate, punish, and stop from doing those who do wrong deeds. Otherwise, you are also part of it. उसका जो फल है ना वो आपको भी मिलेगा. That is how dangerous it is. That if a wrong action is happening and you do not do anything to avert it, or you do not do anything even to report it, you are part of it. Because silence on a wrong thing is considered as being part of it. So you have to be very careful about this karma, and karma is something which can you have do it in a very discretionary manner, discriminating manner, and also all the time feeling that you are a witness to your body moving and doing things. The doer is somebody else, and always try to do an action that will benefit people, that will be good for the society. Always be very alert about your own ego when it rises. Okay, next verse. कर्मणो ह्यपि बोद्धव्यं बोद्धव्यं च विकर्मणः अकर्मणश्च बोद्धव्यं गहना कर्मणो गति. Now bodhavyam means this should be known. Karmano hyapi bodhavyam. Now for verily the true nature of right action should be known. Also, that of forbidden or unlawful action and of inaction, impenetrable is the nature path of action. Now, impenetrable, gehna karmano gati. See, he says gehen. Gehen means very complex, very deep, something which is very difficult to understand. That is called gehen. So gehna karmano gati only means that there is a lot more meaning to karma than what you think there is. It is very, very subtle, not at all simple. So this you should know. This you should know very well. Also, see, action and inaction. Now, life, of course, means activity. Now, here he is classifying, he's even given a chart, Gurudev has given a chart, that life has two kinds of activities, activity and inactivity. So, inactivity, of course, that is no action. तो आप छोड़ दीजिए. Then comes activity. Now, activity, he gives two parts. One is karma, that is actions to be done. One is vikarma, I just told you, actions not to be done, or actions to be avoided, or those actions that are forbidden. Now, in the karmas, the actions to be done, again, there are three parts. Nitya, Naimetika, and Kamya. These are the three Gurudev has listed. Nitya, Naimetika, and Kamya. Or these activities, Nitya Karma, are your everyday activities, which everybody does every day. Eating, sleeping, bathing, all these kind of activities जो रोज करनी होती हैं आपको. Nitya. Nitya means every day, daily. So those activities all come under Nitya. Even earning for your family, cooking for your family, feeding everybody, all those come under Nitya Karma. Naimetika karma Naimittika karma are all the social functions and the social duties that you have. No being is alone. Human being is a social animal. He has to interact with people. He has to do for people, and other people have to do for him. So naimittika karma are those karmas which you must do, uh, special duties on special occasions like marriages. Somebody is married. He has called the community. He has called his friends, and you must go. You, even if you go for a short while, but you must show your presence, because show that you are happy in his happiness. Somebody dies, then you go to mourn, and that mourning is even more important than attending a wedding or attending a social function or attending a party. This is a very important thing, that somebody is unhappy, somebody is miserable. These days with COVID and all, you can't go, but there are ways and ways of comforting that person. With all the social media that you have your WhatsApp, you have emails, you have phones, you have sent. So get in touch with that person, try to elevate that person's sorrow. This comes under naimittika. Somebody is function, किसी का जनेऊ function है, तो किसी का मुंडन है, तो किसी की engagement है, किसी का शादी. All those things come under naimittika karma. कहीं हवन है, कहीं पूजा है, and people call you. These are all social functions which you have a duty to do. The third one is kamya karma. Kamya karma are those actions which you do with desire. You want to do them. You want to do them for a certain purpose, and you need to, you want a result for it. You want a reward for that, whatever you have done. So all those actions all come under kamya karma. Kamya means with desire. All those actions that you do with desire are kamya karma. Now, see, this karma theory is not just for Hindus. Apply it to the world. Human beings are the same everywhere. And that is why the Geeta has a universal acceptance all over, because it is about the human mind and how it behaves. It is about human actions and what actions can benefit you, what actions cannot benefit you. The actions are very, very complex, depending on so many different kinds of minds. And they all interpret actions differently and do actions differently. So all these karmas, forbidden karmas also, all over the world you have vikarma or not? In every religion you have vikarma. Every religion tells you that this you will not do, this you will not do, this. There are commandments. Even punishments are set. In certain medieval kind of religions, even punishments by the society are set, that if you steal, your hand will be cut off. Those kind of punishments. Now, so that those kind of religions are also there, but this vikarma is there in every religion. Buddhism also, it is there. Sikhism, Buddhism, Jainism, all religions that have come out of Hinduism all have it. Even Semitic religions have it. And even if you are a Bohemian, even then there are do's and don'ts. So it is not that the only thing that Krishna totally rejects is the akarma. Akarma means that action which you do, non-action, where you do not act. You are so lazy, so slothful. You just want to lie around, just want to sit around. The Lord has given you a beautiful body and a beautiful equipment to act, but you don't act. That is an action which he doesn't. Even Kabir ka bhajan, sadhu karman ki gati nyari. Nyari means that it is so complex that, it is very difficult to understand it. And sure enough, that is why lots of people wonder when they suffer. When they are happy, they don't wonder that why has this good fortune come to me? Why have I made so much of money? From where have I got this good result from somewhere? You don't ask then, but you always ask when you suffer, why has it come to me? Maine to kuch nahi kiya. Sure, in your knowledge, maybe you'd have not. But do you know your past lives? How many past lives there must have been, and where, when, what you may have done, which may come up now. In this particular life, it may be fructifying. Gurudev used to say that when you get suffering and you are a devotee, you are a seeker, take it this way. वो कोई कर्म फल कट रहा है ना, कोई पाप कट रहा है. So take it this way, that the Lord has lovingly taken you into his lap, and he is giving you a scrub bath. So you cry. You know how children cry when you scrub their face and you bathe them, and then they howl and cry because they don't like it. But what is the mother doing? Mother is cleaning that child. So Gurudev used to say that all the suffering that you get is the result of wrong actions. And many times seekers really suffer a whole lot, because I'm not frightening you, I'm just telling you that these things come to seekers, because so many of their wrong actions are getting destroyed very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. So you are being purified very, very fast that way. So this is now also, see, again, in the motive, you have to understand, see, the motive also you have to understand. Like a servant who is cleaning a Venetian vase, very expensive Venetian vase that you got from your European trip abroad, and you value it a lot. It's expensive and you keep it very carefully. The poor man was dusting it, and it fell from his hand and it broke. He cannot be really punished for it. He cannot be scolded for it, because his motive was cleaning. His motive was to beautify it so that light sparkles through it and it shines and glitters. That was the motive, really. But if he has done it on purpose, if somebody does on purpose to harm, to destroy, then that action is binding. So he will get the result of that action. So much for today. Next time we will do the other verse. There are lots of verses on karma in this chapter. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.